Greetings and welcome to my channel, My Lioness Journey. I am the lovely Lioness Nechelle. In today's video, I want to speak with you all about why I changed my legal name. It's going to sort of kind of be a story time, but I'll tell you all the reasons why I changed my name and also give you all some tips on how to do so, because when I'm recording this video and when I changed my name, which was very recent, it was during the time that we're dealing with what we're dealing with. I'm just being choosy with words because I don't know what words you can and can't say, but you all know what I'm talking about, which kind of changed up the way in which we could go to offices, or changed up a lot of the processes. So I'll explain the process of what I had to do as far as submitting the information. But I'll first start with the name change and the reason, so to kind of be like a story time. So I changed both my legal first and last name. The last name's kind of simple. I recently divorced, and I wanted to be restored back to my maiden name, and so the judge granted in a divorce. However, I did let my lawyer know that I also wanted to change my legal first name. And so what she said was, what we'll do is when we submit the documentation, we'll put both to see if the judge would grant both. Fortunately for me, I was able to have both granted. Okay, so now let's go into the why. Now, the first name that my parents gave me, I never ever liked my name. It's a very long name. My mother gave me a nickname as a baby, actually, with that long first name, and so the family always called me by the nickname, and people would always mispronounce the name, and the only way they would know how to, anyone would know how to pronounce my name is if they just so happened to know me personally. But my name wasn't spelled the way it was pronounced. And so I would be called some of the most hideous names. I would be like, oh God, I can't even be mad at these people. They didn't do this. The parents did this. And so I absolutely did not like my name. And when I got older, well, for the most part, I kind of went by the nickname my mom gave me as a baby. All family called me that in grammar school, middle school, high school. I went by the family nickname. When at some point when I started working and matured some, I shortened my first name, like made a nickname out of my first name, so that co-workers, so that it'll be easier for them to just say that, because they would see my name and be like, oh God, here we go, I have to explain this, or be like, oh, it sounds like it should be this, even though that letter is missing. And so then I had that nickname, but I never liked that nickname either, but it was better than the first name. But as the years progressed, I started attaching, and I don't know why, it seemed like I would attach the nickname, even though I don't introduce myself as the nickname ever. Not now. I haven't introduced myself as my family nickname in a very long time. But you would think the family nickname would give me some type of uncomfort or pain, but it was really, I don't know why, my first name. And I really don't think it was because of the mispronouncing of my name. You know, I went through a lot as a child. I experienced child abuse from my mother, and for whatever reason, somehow, some way, I attached that name with those experiences. And I kind of feel like my old legal first name was like the caterpillar, and my new first name is like me transitioning into this butterfly. Now, I had my legal first name, but I had a middle name, which is Nechelle, and that's the name that I started going by in 2016. So in 2016, around that time frame is when I embraced that name, and I'm like, okay, when I introduce myself now, I'm going to tell people to call me Nechelle. And people who were already calling me my other names, I didn't stop them because it was like, oh, this would just be too much. Thankfully, I remembered who knew me as what name, so when I called someone, I'm like, hey, this is me, this is, and I would know who knew me as Nechelle. So I didn't stop family members or anyone from calling me the old names. I just requested that if they introduced me to someone, like if someone came, if I'm at their house and someone came over, or we're somewhere and we meet someone that they know, that they introduce me as Nechelle, although they were calling me a different name. And then maybe, you know, the person like, well, why are you calling her that? And we could tell them the quick story, or this is her preference. Now, I want to say it was around 2018 when I really started flirting with the idea of, I think I want to change my name. It was a thought like, I think I want to drop my first name and legally change it to my middle name, Nechelle, which is Nechelle, by the way. Just thought I would, you know, throw that out there. And so I was like, you know, just, I think I want to do that, but I wasn't really giving it a lot of thought at the time. Just like, oh, okay, I think I'm going to do so. In 2019, that's pretty much was the time frame that I knew that I was going to move forward with a divorce. And by that time, both the first name gave me a lot of pain. Well, it just reminded me, I can't say the name gave me pain, it just reminded me of traumatic childhood experiences. And so it's interesting because it's like, and this is going to sound all weird because I'm going to be speaking in the third person. She, that name, is a part of me, and I love her and I appreciate her because she endured a lot. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am. But she no longer serves me, therefore I no longer desire to be called by her. I feel like now I'm Nechelle with this new beginning, and I get to decide some things. I get to say who I'm called and how you call me. Now, as far as the last name, you got the old first name that was reminding me of childhood pain, and you got the marital last name that was reminding me of abuse I went through in the marriage. So to be called by both names was just too heavy. And so I was like, it just kind of, to be called that name was just painful. If I'm at a doctor's office or wherever I am, and to hear both names, they'd be like, oh God, it just felt heavy. You know, of course I didn't take it out on a person or anything like that. That would be weird, but I'm just saying it would just be very uncomfortable. And I could remember fantasizing when I still had both names, like, oh man, I'm looking forward to the days to where I could look at my license, I could look at mail, I could look at whatever document, and it has my new name, showing me and reminding me that I have this fresh start and this new beginning, and I got to choose what I want to be called. And I get to answer by what I prefer to be called, because I've been called everything else that, and many names that I've never wanted to be called. And so I am thankful for both of the names that I no longer have, because they have served their purpose, but they no longer serve me, and it feels amazing to no longer be called by those names. And so, like I said earlier, my lawyer requested that the name, or both names, be changed. So thankfully I didn't have to go through a separate process. I was able to do mine through the divorce. So now I'll explain to you all how. So if you're wanting to do this, if you're considering changing your name, first of all, congratulations, do it. If it's going to make you feel better, if it's going to make you feel better, if your story is similar or not, you just don't want to be called by the name you were born with, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I say congratulations, move forward. I live in North Florida, So what I'm going to do is go to the computer and take you all with me. And I'm going to actually show you like the process and explain to you all how I went about doing it on legally, on the legal side, after the judge granted my legal name change in my final divorce paperwork. From your search engine, you will go to ssa.gov, and it's going to take you to this page. And so this is the main SSA website. From there, you'll go to menu. And over here to the left, you want to go to change your name, and you will click on that. Okay, there we go. And so from here, it gives you information on how do you change your name for your Social Security card, and it's free. Now, I'm showing you this way first because I called the telephone number, but they ended up giving me this website to go to because you would need to print out a form. And so, and just read over this, and then right here it says fill out and print an application for a Social Security card. You would click on that. And this form is called the SS5 form, and it's 5 pages. And so the third page, not the third, let's see. Okay, it's looking like it is the fifth page. This is the page you will fill out. This is the form, not the page. You'll fill out this form. And just they give instructions here if you have trouble with filling it out, but it's really simple. Now let me give you the instructions for where I am. I'm in North Florida, and when I filled out the SSI form, it was during the situation what's going on with us, which means a lot of the governmental agencies were closed to the public. So I had to print this form out, and I was told that I would have to send my actual driver's license, not a copy, but your actual driver's license, along with the document that is certified showing that you are legally granted the ability to change your name. And for me, that was my original divorce document. So I had to send the original and your driver's license. If you send a copy of your driver's license, they will reject your application and they will send it back. So just make sure you send the original. I remember asking them, so what do I do if I get pulled over? They were like, well, kind of sound like that'll be your problem. But they didn't really have any recommendations. So I would just say drive safe. I made a copy of my card just in case I needed to check my children out of school. And so you'll send that. What I did was when I went to the post office, I paid the however much it was, $25 or something like that to get the overnight. So like have it so where they would sign it saying that they received it. But it took approximately, I want to say at least a week for them to get it. No, I'm sorry. They received it the next day. It took like a week for them to actually start working on it. And then eventually I called the local number, and then they eventually mailed me back my license after like probably 2 weeks, approximately 2 weeks, give or take. They mailed me back my information saying that I'll receive my Social Security card within the next 2 weeks. So altogether, I feel like it took maybe 3 to 4 weeks the most. I know it wasn't a full month, but it felt like it was forever to finally get it. And I'm trying to find the one page. I think this is the page I need to take you all to. I want to show you something else. Okay, I finally found it. So let's see, let's take you back to the home page. So from the home page, from ssa.gov, And this is to find your local Social Security governmental building, because this is where you would send that application and your driver's license along with any supporting documentation that's certified, or however they tell you. But I would still, you could call the main number, but you could also call the local number. But so I clicked menu, and not here, over here where it says contact us. So you would click on that. Excuse me. And then right here, you scroll down to the bottom under ways to contact us. Click on office locator. And right here. And so then you'll put in a zip code, and it'll give you the address and the contact number. I highly recommend that you call them first to make sure that this is the correct address that's showing, because where I live, the address was different than what was showing, and I was given another address to mail mine to. So just give them a call to make sure that this is the correct address. So you could call your local number, and they'll tell you exactly what to do, and then you'll have that number to call them if you want to check the status of your application. And it's that simple. That's all you have to do. So yes, that's the process. I hope you find it to be helpful. If you have any questions that I can clear up for you, then leave those questions down in the comment section. But I'm sure you could just call the local number in your area, and they'll be able to give you more information. But if you have a quick question that you feel like, I don't want to wait on hold for 30 minutes for someone to answer the call, and if I'm able to assist you, I'll give you that information. But again, like I said earlier, if you are considering changing your name, you owe no one nothing. I mean, if you're an adult and you choose to change your name, then change your name. I told my parents, I waited till after. I didn't tell them in advance. I waited until after I changed the name. And I text them both, and I was like, Mom, I text her, Dad, I am no longer this name. This is my new name. And surprisingly, they both took it well. No one objected or said anything. Like, what could they do anyway? But, no one objected. And in fact, both of their responses were very similar. It went something like, hey, as long as it makes you happy, then that's all that matters. And I'm like, absolutely right, and thank you. I was actually surprised, especially with my mom, because my mom was the one that named me that name. She got it from her first cousin. They were pregnant at the same time, and she gave her this name and named her daughter something similar. But at any rate, regardless if they took it wrong or not, I had years to really think about it, you know what I mean, and just like, hey, this is, once I change it, I want to make sure I'm never changing it again. I decided not to have a middle name. I didn't want a middle name. I'm fine with Nechelle, and so I'm forever Nechelle. I'm forever the other name too. She'll always be a part of me. I just no longer desire to be called by her. So I hope this information was helpful. I hope you found my story time helpful. Your reason is your reason. And if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Share this information with someone. If you know someone that is considering changing their name and you think that they can benefit from the information I shared today, then share this video with them. And if today's video inspired you to subscribe to my channel, I want to tell you thank you in advance for doing so. Again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will chat with you all in a new video. Bye-bye for now.